Hello everyone, my name is Hriyen, your tech maestro at Azure DevOps Pulse. Welcome back to another episode. In our last session, we have learned how to install Docker on Windows as well as Linux, and also we have understood the difference between Docker image versus Docker container. And in today's video, we will be learning basic Docker commands such as Docker pull, Docker images, Docker run, Docker ps, Docker stop, Docker rm, Docker rmi, and etc. These all commands will be learning with practically. So before we get started with these commands, we'll try to understand the Docker 1 second. What is Docker? Docker is an open source that simplifies, that is an open source platform that simplifies the process of developing, shipping, and running applications in containers. Containers are lightweight, portable, and isolated environment that package an application along with its dependencies, libraries, system tools, system libraries, and settings, ensuring consistency across different environments. All right, now we have understood what is Docker and why we use it. So it was already discussed in our last session. Maybe if you are here for the first time, you may need to check our last two sessions video. All right, let's get started to understand about basic Docker commands. So what we do first, let me go to my terminal. This is the terminal where I have it, and let me just type here Docker. I want to check the version first, what version was using now. If I type it Docker version, I get to see this is the version, current version is being used. Okay, all right. So we have understood how to check the version of the Docker. Now we'll go some of the basic commands that we are going to use it and see. And also each command we will try to understand why we use and what is the basically purpose of each commands. All right, fine. So as you can see here, the first command I mentioned as Docker pull and then image name. So what it does basically pull an image from a registry. Registry means there's a public registry that is a Docker hub. So what we'll do, I have already opened to save the time in my Docker hub. You can also log in here, docker hub.docker.com. Okay, you log in. If you not have the account, maybe you may need to create your own account. Once you create it, you will be directed something like this. And in my case, what I want is that I want to get I can simply search over here in the search button Ubuntu. Basically, any image that you would like to use it. In my case, I want to use a Ubuntu image from my Docker Hub, so I use a Ubuntu. So if I type enter, as I type enter, I'm going to get this one. Let me click over there. So this is the command docker pull then image name. So let me copy this one. Same thing, it was already discussed, mentioned over here, docker pull with the image name. So let me enter first. Before that, let me show whether I have any images. Docker images. Right now, I don't have any images, only one, that is my minikube. The rest, I don't have anything else. So let me just use this command docker pull. Sorry, docker pull ubuntu. Okay. So what it does basically now, that first of all they're trying to check in your local system whether this particular image is available or not in a local system. If it is not available, what they are going to do with the tag, or they are going to pull from your what you call repository in your Docker Hub that is available in your slash library slash Ubuntu. Okay. Then they have pulled the image first. They pulled this Ubuntu image and with the name. And what is the status? It is a downloaded newer image for Ubuntu that is latest. Okay, so right now that means you have the image which is available in your Docker Hub. This image, right? That is available in a Docker Hub because this is a the public image. So you have pulled in your local system right now. Your image, this particular Ubuntu image, is available in your local system. How can I verify that one? Same commands I can use the Docker images command. So this will help you to list all your Docker image within your local system. So as you can see here, this is the existing which was there before. That is a minikube one. This is the one which we have pulled using Docker pull commands from Docker Hub. So as you can see here, this is the tag and this is the image name for my Ubuntu image basically. And okay. and this got created, you can ignore this one. And size also, we can, this is a size basically for your image. Now we have understood now how to pull it. What we can do next, let's see. Now, like I mentioned, we have used the Docker images. What it does basically, list all locally available images. That means whatever locally you have the images, it is going to be listed over here. So that is why I could see only two images, cube, minikube and the Ubuntu. All right. Now let's go with the next one. That is Docker run then image name. What it does basically, running a container based on the image. So what I'll do, I will create one comments. I will run one comments, that is Docker run. Then I can mention double dash name, nothing but now I want to run. What it does basically, if you see here, run a container based on the image. So that means this is that I want to run the containers with the name of the container. I can mention name argument, that is I need to mention that container name basically. In my case, name I can mention as maybe any name. I can just mention in my case engine x container, let's say container. Okay, this is the basically doc container name I want to give as engineers container. Now then I want to give it d, nothing but dtas mode, so that it will be running in your background. Basically your containers will be running in your background of your systems. Now then dash t is nothing but in your terminal, and then I can mention a p is nothing but port. I want to expose the port as well, so I need to mention, otherwise I cannot access it right locally. So what I do, I can mention any local port that I want to expose to. In my case, this is the local port, that is 700 colon. I can mention the nginx, that is a container which container port that is on nginx listens on, because my image I'm going to use as nginx nginx. Okay, I can mention a tag also if you want with a colon this thing. I can mention something like that, or I can just leave as it is. Just mention the image name itself. If you give this also, they are consider, the Docker will think that you are actually pulling the latest image itself instead of the other image. But if you go here, if you go with here, let me just go to the official website, Nginx, right? If I see here, see there are many other tags are there. If you see here, there are so many tags are there. What you do, you go overview, you can see the tags. There are so many tags are available, right? So if you want different tags, it has a different kind of configuration, different settings, right? Depends on updates, right? So if you don't like this one, or maybe if you just want to use the latest one, by default, you can just your Docker pull and the image name. If you don't mention anything with an argument of your tag, then it is considered as a new tag itself. So in my case, I don't want to mention anything, any specific tag version. Basically, I can just give as it is image name. So it will be considered as a new image itself, latest tag. So what I'll do now, that means let me just enter. First of all, what it does, let me explain a brief. So first of all, what it does, when I say Docker run, Docker container will be running with the name of the container, that is my container name. This is the basically, if I want to mention or customize your Docker container name, by default, if you don't mention this also okay, but then it is not good practice not to use your Docker name with the proper name, right? So that is why it will only create random name. So what I want with my specific name, with that is nginx container, and I want to run this container in your dtas mode in the terminal, as well as I want to expose your local port with your container port, that is nginx listens on port 80. That image is nginx. So right now what it does basically, they are going to pull the image. First of all, they will check from your local system first. If this particular nginx image is not available in your local system, what it does, they are going, if you see here, unable to find image nginx latest locally. That means they have checked first in your local system whether your this nginx is available in a local system or not. If it is not there, what they will go to the Docker Hub and they are going to pull the image from your Docker Hub from this location, that is a library slash nginx in your Docker Hub. They are going to pull, as you can see, they are going to pull all the layers. They have pulled it, and success last they mention pulled complete. Okay, I mean here you can see downloaded in your version. Okay, with the name, because as I mentioned here, it did not mention any tag here with the image tag, but still they are consider it to be as latest itself. That is the default. But if you want To mention specific tag, you have to give a tag name itself. You have to specify something like this. Mention whatever tag name. In my case, if you want to mention this tag, just copy this tag and just use here. In my case, let's say just put latest mean latest like that. But for us, we don't want anything. Okay, that is how it is. Now, all right. Now let's understand. We have understood this how it does. If I type the images now, I will get to see image name, that is Nginx, that is a Ubuntu is a old one, and this is the latest one which we pulled it from your Docker Hub, and this is a tag, and this is the image name. Basically, each Docker image will have a image ID as well, and when it got created, and also the size of the image. All right, now we have understood this one. Let's go with the next comment. So we have run the Docker containers. Now build a PS. What it does basically, running a container basically it means list all running containers. Basically what I do, Docker PS is nothing but this will let me just clear the screen. What it does basically, if you see here, they are going to list all your running containers in a local system or I mean in your system, right? So as you can see here, PS nothing but it is basically going to show all the running container itself. So this is the container name of my Nginx container which we created, right? This is the container name which we created, and this is the container ID of container Nginx container, and this is the image name. Okay, this is the container name. This is the container. Sorry, this is the container ID. This is the container name, and this is the image basically in the next image. And if you see here comments basically, if you see over here, like you can see this is got run comments, and when it got created 2 minutes ago, what is the uptime or status? It is a 2 minutes. And what port we have used? 700 local port, and this is port is nothing but this is your which locally we have exposed, and this is nothing but your Nginx listens on port 80 on your containers. So we have used port 80. So yeah, all right. Now let's go with the next. If you want to see even the including the stop containers, we can use this same thing PS instead of this thing. We can just dash PA. So this will show anything if it is stop containers as well. It is going to list it over here. Or we can use one more commands instead of this one. If you want to see the containers, we can just mention running containers. There are many ways, I mean, things we can do. Like I can type Docker container, then ls also, same thing. It is going to show the running containers itself. If you want to see same thing for the stop container, I can just use a argument. So this is going to show even the stop containers as well. So it works fine. All right. Now let's go with the next. That is, how can I stop this one? I want to stop a running container. I want to stop the container that is running. If I say a Docker PS, this particular container or this particular container is are same, right? I want to stop this particular container that is Nginx container. I want to stop this one. How can I stop? Docker stop. I can mention. It's very simple. Mention a container name or container ID as you wish. So as you can see here, it is stopped now. How can I confirm it is stopped? Let me go back. PS if you do, it's not listed over here now. This name, what you see now, it is going to show here, right? In your here, it is not going to show anymore. As you can see here, it is not going to see because it is no more running, right? This particular container, that is your Nginx container, it is not running. It is a stop state. So how can I see the stop state now? I can just use a space a argument. So it is going to show even the stop, what do you call that, container as well. Let me show you. Yes. If I see a argument, now I can see even the species here. This is a container ID, and this is the image which was used, and this is the what is said status. It is the exitor, and this is the name. Name that the container name is your Nginx container. Question is, if you notice here, one thing, these all is okay, but if you notice one more thing here, right here, status, it is showing as exited, and if you see before. If you see here status, it was up to If you see here, up to 4 minutes ago, something like that. But now it is showing as exited with a code as 0. What it means basically. So there are many things we need to, some of the key things which we need to understand. Whenever you see exited core is in your with a non-zero code. In my case, it is 0, right? 0 means that means there is no issue in your container itself. Whenever you show the exited code as 0, that means the container does not have any issue. But maybe somebody most probably might have stopped your container. That is the one reason. But if you see container which is maybe instead of exited code as some other code, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, any non-zero code, exit code if you see here, that means there are chances maybe the container has some problem. So we need to investigate the container itself. So in my case, I see like it is a 0, that means I do not see any issue in my container itself. But if there is any other code, if you see other than the 0, yes, you need to go and check your container. That also we will see now. Okay. All right. Now we have understood this one. Now we have stopped the container as well, right? So what I'll do now, let me start the container once again. Same thing which can be used. Same thing I can stop. I can use the start command now. Docker start. Now it is going to start. If I use a PS also, you're going to see because this is running. If you see here created, now status got changed now. It is not before it was a exited code 0, right? Now it is got changed, right? So we are good now. If you see here up to 2 seconds, that means this got started. Now fine, we are good with here. Now containers are running fine now. Now what we can do next is your container. We have stop also. We have started the restart the container also. That's good. Now what we do? For now we can think this two will do it later. Okay, Docker are removing and removing container and as well as the the images. We will see that later because for now we will do others. Let's say you have an issue with your containers now. So if you see execute a command in a running container. So meaning in a container which we will using these commands right, this container, let's say instead of 0 non-exit code as 0, let's say you have some other code, let's say 2, 3, 4, anything, you expect there is some issue, right? So you need to investigate, right? So there are many ways we can do, but let's say I want to do investigate. Basically I want to check inside my containers. I want to see what is going on. I want to log into the container. Right now you are actually in your local in your system itself. You are no more in your container. If you want to see within the container, you want to go inside container and check the logs or maybe see and execute some commands, then we need to use docker exec. Let me show you. Docker use exec, then mention the I is nothing but it is interactive mode with your terminal. Okay, then I can mention the my container name in my case because I want to go to specific container, right? So because I am no more in a container, so let me go inside container. Then I put a comments bash. I want to go into bash. If you see here, this is the format as you can see here. Docker exec ID, then container name and the commands you can execute anything. So I want to go to bash now here. So as you notice here, when I before I typing this docker exec, I was standing here in your local systems or in your systems. Now automatically it took me directly to the container inside container under root directory user. If you see here, this particular, how can I confirm that one? Like I mentioned, this is a container name and this is the ID of the container, right? This is the ID, container ID, right? So if you just see here, the same ID you get to see here. That means you are now inside of your Nginx container. Okay, you are inside this particular container. This is why you can see the container ID as well, right? If you see here, this is the same container ID. Right now, I can do anything within the container according to your use cases or issue you may face. If you want to see some logs or anything based on your use cases, you can run any commands. So it is available right now in your container. So let me type some command. Let's say I simply want to run some command just to see. Okay, exec. I just want to see the OS. What is the operating system got released? If I see right now, I'm inside a container. I'm getting to see all this information. But whatever I'm running the container is within the container itself. All right, now let me execute. If you want to install some tools also, means some kind of Nginx or anything, you can install. Example, uh, apt install Nginx. Let's say maybe I think already we have installed it. Maybe you can still try. So yeah, as you can see here, if you see here, it is done already installed. So it is showing. That means it is there. That means we can run any commands. Okay. Right now it is installed already, so it is that is why it is showing. Fine. Let me execute from here. Right now I'm back to my system. Now executed. Now if you want to see some logs of the container, basically for some reason, like sometime there could be any other issue, right? We can check that also. Docker logs, mention the container name. In my case, this is the container name again. So these are the full logs. You can just go through all the logs and understands. Okay, now let me check the others one. And we can see something called inspect. What it does basically, inspect. Docker inspect displays details information about a container. Like if you want to inspect more details about particular container, like all your configuration details, your network relators, or could be your images which got attached, everything basically you want complete details or configuration details about the container, then you must use Docker inspect commands. So let's see. Docker inspect, then mention the container name. In my case, I have already copied. Sorry, my bad. I can just mention. Let me check what is the container name. Docker ps. If I run, I just mentioned Docker inspect. One second. Hmm, Docker inspect. I can copy this. Maybe doc with the container ID. I can copy, or I can copy with the name. I'll copy with the con this time. Maybe what do you call Nginx. This one, right? Copy with the container name. Let me go. That means if you see here. As you can see, this is how it will be. You can see such a broad information over here. Let me show you some of the useful information that is required for you to see. Like you mentioned, this is the created date, and this is the ID, and you can see the this is the Nginx, right? And what is the command got used? What is the state of the particular containers? It is a running, and you get to see all other information, process ID and everything, exit code as well. You can see if there is any issue also you get to see over here. Apart from this one, you will get to see many others, but just let me show you some of the important. Like you can see a restart policy also. By default it is, I mean, it is, we didn't do anything, so it is showing no. And also the maximum retry token also we didn't set anything, so it is showing as 0. All right, so now let's go back. So if you come down little bit, you see here volume images. Yeah, if you see here under network settings, you can see that this by default it is bridge. So whenever you create any Docker containers, right, by default it assigns your to your bridge network. That is a default bridge network on Docker network. That is default actually. Okay, it is got assigned to your particular, what do you call that, containers. Apart from this one, you can see a local host, and this is the port. Basically, locally, when we run a Docker run, we run this one, and we have exposed this port, right, using port argument. So this is what we have export, and as you can see here also, same port we have exposed it. And if you come down little bit, you get to see this is a gateway IP, and what is the IP address, what is our you get to see the MAC address, everything. Then even you can see the network all related. That is a bridge, like I mentioned, it's a bridge itself. So you'll get complete information. This will help you to basically if you need any kind of information about your network related, configuration related, or could be any other you want to see basically, right? These Docker inspect commands will help you a lot. All right, now let's go with the next command, Docker history. Docker history basically shows a history of an image. Basically, whenever you build a Docker image, right, this will help you to see the how it is being built, everything. So let me just show you one command. So right now I have not built anything Docker commands. Let me see what I have. Let me go inside. I have one Docker file. Let's say Docker build, right? Sorry, and to go Docker commands. Let me go inside. So I have here, if you see here, cat, I have Docker file already created over here for the engine, that is for the Blaster Slim base. This is Debian base application. Basically, what is it? Docker file is going to be created. Okay, this Docker file I have basically already existing, and also I have one more Nginx, I think, sorry, what I call that, index.html. Okay, so whatever I have the container also, this is going to copy in your Docker file and do everything it for you. Okay, for now, I don't want to explain everything this one. I will explain later, maybe when I do in the next sessions. For now, this is a simple Docker file I have it. Okay, and also I want to put some contents that it mentions, hi there, welcome to Azure DevOps Pulse. So let's see. I want to basically build this image with the help of Docker file. This is not this thing. I want to build this image. So let me clear the screen. I just mentioned what is the command to use. I can use a Docker build. Then I can give it D also. That means what it does basically, this is going to be built according within the local directory, whatever you have the file, that is your Docker file. No, they are going to take that one. Okay. Otherwise, I can do one more job, T argument, which T is something like tag. Basically, I want to mention the Docker build. What is the image? Basically, I want to mention the image name. In my case, whatever image name you want, you can give it. If you want, you can give or you can ignore it. So in my case, I'll just mention anything web web app. Let's say I don't want to give any text. Just I just give this in. Just slash this thing. Okay, I just want to give it name of the image. So now let's me right now. I didn't mention any tag. I'll tell you why I didn't mention so that when I explain, it'll be easy. Now I'll not mention the tag, but if you want to mention a tag also, then after this particular image name, then colon you can mention the tag name letters or anything that you would like to. Right now it is being basically built according to, I mean, based on your existing Docker file, what you define, right? So it may take maybe at least a minute or something. So let's wait for that. All right. So as you can see right now, it is successfully being, built with the help of Docker file. It is going to expose the image to the image and also exporting layers, writing the image and naming this particular whatever name we given. This is basically a image name, not the tag. Tag we have not defined it. The reason why I didn't do. If you want, you can use here like that. Any name you can give it. Letters one, letters or B1 or anything that you can give it anything that you like. But in my case, we did not give. I'll tell you why we did not give that one later when I explain. It will be helpful. Okay. Okay. Fine. The reason why I didn't use this one is whenever I want to use this commands, no, I want to demonstrate that time. That is why I didn't use it. Because when I explain here, this will be easy for you then to understand about this one. Okay, tag. Right now, I just use the image name. Now let me check. I can go back or wherever I can run. So Docker images, if I type it, as you can see right now, I have my images and it got created automatically tag for your letters because like I mentioned, it is automatically going to tag. Okay, I have mentioned a tag automatically. I mean, it is going to tag automatic tag. Fine. Now what we are going to do is that we have understood the tag. Now it is running fine. Now, okay, now I want to inspect basically, I mean, I want to check the history, right? What it does basically, history is here. Show the history of the image. So let me run. I'll just copy with the image name. Just mention Docker history. I can mention the image ID or the, you can use image ID, otherwise you can use the, what do you call, image name itself. In my case, I have used the image name itself. So this is the command. That means whenever you're building your Docker image, right? How it is being used in the backend. In the backend, what is happening, everything we can check during building your applications. In the sense, your images. Okay, this will help you to see if there is any issue. Right now, so we have understood almost everything. So what we'll do, we have, I think, two things we need to understand here. One more, I will do this last. One more, we are pending with here, right? Somewhere, yeah. this one. So now let's try with this one. We want to remove the stop. How can I be? First, we will stop the container. To remove the container, we need to stop first. Let me show you. If I type here docker ps, sorry, before that, let me. It is already running, right? If I type here docker ps, it is running. So no problem. I will first check how I can access this particular nginx because I didn't show you this one. So curl I can do locally http, then colon I can mention the localhost with a port. What port we have exposed, that is a 700 we use, right? I can copy this one or I can simply type 700. So as you can see here, your nginx application is successfully running, right? So this confirms that your application is running accordingly. Fine. Now, what I'll do, I'll clear this also screen. One second, I'll use the same commands. Now, I'm going to stop the container first. Let me, before stopping the container, can I try to remove first? Docker stop, I mean, remove rm is nothing but remove. What is the container name? I can copy with the container name or container ID. So in my case, let me try with the container name itself. If I try with this command, what is going to happen? Let's see. So what it says now, if I try with the docker rm with the container name, basically it is going to remove your container, but it says that error response from daemon cannot remove container, this particular container, right? Con Container is running, stop the container before removing the or force the remove to remove for okay. That means if you have the container which is already running, basically we cannot stop directly. So there are two ways I can do if you want to remove. We first need to stop the container or we have to forcefully while deleting this thing also we have to stop the container, otherwise I have to use forcefully, in the sense forcefully removing the container, nothing but I can just put like this argument. That means this is going to remove your container. This way I can use. Maybe if you don't want to do this one, otherwise what I can do first, you can do like this docker stop. I need to stop the container. This also we can do and then we can remove it. So depends on your use cases, but normally it is not a good practice to forcefully delete any kind of stop the containers. I mean not stopping, I mean removing the containers. So what you do first, stop the container first. So in my case I'll stop it. Maybe if you don't want to stop, if you're just for testing purpose, then you can do directly using docker rm with the f argument. It's nothing but forcefully you're doing. I can do in my case. So it is got. Now if I try with these same commands, now I don't see because it is got removed. I mean delete. Yeah, remove. So if I type with the ps then a also, I will not see the container because it is no more available. Forcefully we have deleted, in the sense removed it. All right, now we have understood this one. Now what about images then? Now let's see if what images we have. Docker images. If I type, sorry, my bad. So as you can see, this is the Nginx we have it, and it is right now this is the image ID. If I want, I can first, if I want to basically stop this image directly, this thing, you can't stop the image and if it is running any container. Right now we have stopped the images. I mean containers, we have removed the container. So in my case, we can stop the images. I mean remove the images. But if let's say you have a stop images, I mean container, let's say you have already stopped, but that is attached to the image, let's say you cannot remove it. I mean remove the delete the your what do you call nginx. So what I do now, in my case I have already removed my container, so for me it's okay, I can delete it. So what is the command to delete the or remove the images? So it's a rm nothing but remove, I is nothing but image, so I want to remove the image. Then I can mention the whatever name of the image now. So in my case it is, this is the image id, I can copy or I can copy the name of the image itself, anything you would like to wish. So as you can see, it is got deleted. Right now, if I just clear screen, if I say here, your Nginx is gone. But your, let's see, your Nginx is already running. Mean the container is running. You cannot stop the images. I mean, delete the images. Okay, you have to stop the container first. All right, now we have understood this one. Now the last command is pending, that is a docker system prone, right? So what I'll do now, I will try to create one more I will first, what I'll do, I will create one more, I will build one more. I'm sitting here. What I'll do, I will create one more docker build. This time I will build without any tag name. So this time I build using same docker file, but before I given a tag name, I mean image name as the web app. This time I didn't mention tag also, nothing I mentioned. So let me show you. Now docker image, if I type here, now, okay, let me first remove this existing one. I think it's got this thing. How to remove this one? Docker RMI, mention this thing, image name. Now if I type here, because it is taking the old one, so it's okay. Now I don't have anything. Now I will run once again. Docker build. Okay. Now if I type here docker images, now yeah, let me just screen. Now if you see here, notice that right now I have already built the image with the help of docker image, which is available, and I try to list the images, docker images, as you can see here, repository as none and tag as none, and this is the image ID. If you see here, okay, this is created. So this particular image, what it is actually, it is there is no tag. So this repository is not there. That means this particular image, that is the image, this one image ID, we have not mentioned any image name, either we have tagged it. Okay. So in this case, what happens now, if you want to run the containers or do anything also, we can run the container also, but then let me run this thing also. Uh, I can mention here docker run. It's okay. We don't want to run, let it be. So this is the commands. I mean, what we want basically, we want to understand the last command. System, sorry, Docker system prone, what it does, removes all stop containers, dangling images, and unused networks and volumes. That means, first thing, if you have anywhere in your system where you have a stop containers, they are going to remove that as well. And dangling image is something that, like in our case, we have built the images, but we have not mentioned any tag for the image. And also, this image was not attached to any of the container right now, right? Because the image should be attached to some of the containers, or there should be some tag. In my case, that means image also not tagged to any with any name. Even the particular image was not attached to any of the containers. So what it does, this is this, okay. So in this case, that is also going to be removed. Okay, even if you have a network related things also which is not being used, or anything volume if you have it which is not being used, it is going to delete everything. So let me show you. If you type here docker, that means this will not be removed here because it has a tag everything. But this particular what you have, I mean this particular, right, just does not have a tag anything. This is going to be removed. So dangling image basically mostly you think of like whenever you build your own using Docker will, right? Docker, I mean file, where we sometimes we don't, by mistake or whatever reason, we did not mention any Docker image name. So, and also we have not defined any tag name. So that will be considered as your dangling image. Right. Now let me run this command docker system prone. So you see here. As I type here docker system prone, what you get? Warning, I'm getting it. This will remove. What it is going to remove? All stop container. They are going to stop remove all stop container. Whether if you have any stop which is stop container also, it's going to remove all networks not used by at least one container. If you have network, which is different kind of network, right, which is not being used by any of the one container, that also going to be removed. Okay, or all dangling images. Dangling images, like I mentioned, maybe while you building the using Docker file, you have not defined your tag or image name or anything, that is going to be removed. And unused build cache also, if you not define this thing, this is all going to be removed. So if I mention yes, then they are going to remove everything. So let me show you image. If I type, it is going to remove everything now. Whatever is not, yes, but now it is here. Reclaim space, this much space because it's so many things got deleted because some are, if you see, but this command normally we do not recommend you to use this one because this is very advanced, and only when you are sure uh, about this process you use this one, because this is very critical commands. We should not use these commands, but just for to show you guys, that is why I'm making this to show you. Okay, let me just see now images. If I type here, see what I said, the dangling image what we have using this UI, there was no any tag or repository image was not there. There was no tag, there is no image name. If you see here, this particular got removed. That's all I'm able to see here, right? If Ubuntu was there, because it has a tag attached. And if you have a container which is not running, that is going to be remove everything. So you can see what is going to be remove everything. Based on these conditions, if you know everything properly, if you're sure, then you do it. But normally, we don't recommend to do it unless you are expert or maybe you know very well about this process. All right. So this confirms that it is going to remove everything, like dangling image got removed in my case. So that is why this particular image which we built recently got removed. Right. So, all right, this is some of the very basic and very useful commands. Please, you may refer these documents and try to exercise yourself. This repository, if you in case need, you will get it in my what is it, GitHub repository.